Slowly, Chiemena's eyes widened in shock and disbelief at what he was seeing on the papers. Chiemena feels like the whole earth was spinning fast and he felt slightly dizzy. "This is why we left with Chimamanda in the first place," says Ejike. "We didn't know how you would react to the news. I wanted us to tell you before leaving," continued Ejike, "but she said you might not handle the revelation well." Chiemena turns and looks at Adaeze for confirmation, but Adaeze is too ashamed to look Chiemena in the eyes. So Chiemena brings out his phone, took a photo of one of the documents and sent it to his friend Nnamani, and followed it up with a call, asking Nnamani if he can call his office and authenticate the DNA test certificate he just sent. Nnamani asks for 5 minutes to authenticate it. As Chiemena waits just outside the compound for Nnamani's feedback, Ejike waits near the house with disorganized Adaeze. 5 minutes felt like it was longer than 15 minutes. Shortly, Chiemena's phone rings and he anxiously takes the call. Chiemena listens quietly as Nnamani confirms that the certificate is authentic and that Chimamanda was actually Ejike's daughter. Chiemena hangs up the call and fights hard to overcome the wave of evil machinations of how best to vengefully kill Ejike for everything he has done. But Chiemena just barely manages to tame his killer instincts. Chiemena looks at Chimamanda and observes her for a moment, hoping that this paternity test result was all part of a bad dream. But as Chiemena looks at Chimamanda and observes her more carefully, he begins to see the physical resemblance between Chimamanda and Ejike. Chiemena takes one last look at Ejike and Adaeze for closure. Ejike is suddenly ashamed of himself and for everything he did to Chiemena, but couldn't man up to apologize to Chiemena. Adaeze, on the other hand, was sobbing bitterly for betraying Chiemena and throwing away everything she had with him just to end up in a miserable, hopeless marriage with a lazy gold digger like Ejike. Having seen enough, Chiemena picks up his little brown bag from the ground and walks away totally heartbroken. Adaeze weeps bitterly as Chiemena walks away into the sunset, because she knew she had made the biggest mistake of her life by ever cheating on Chiemena, the only man that truly loved her and was ready to move the whole earth for her. As Chiemena sits quietly in a bus on his way back home, tears begin to roll down his cheek, for he now knows that the last few years of his life have been nothing but lies, and he was now back to square one. Chiemena is back home, standing in front of his house, trying to figure out how to move on without his beloved daughter, Chimamanda. But right there and then, Chiemena swore he would bounce back on his feet, put the shattered pieces of his life back together again, and find a good woman to spend the rest of his life with. Years later, Chiemena's life has become marred by one failed promise after another. Everything in Chiemena's life have gone from bad to worse. He was now living in abject poverty. All efforts to secure a job has failed, and he has no money left to start any business that can help put food on his table. Chiemena was now a mere shadow of his old self. Almost starved to death, Chiemena decides to go out and see if he can get anything to eat before he dies of hunger. Hungry and malnourished, Chiemena comes up to Mama Ngozi, the fried yam seller, just a few blocks from his house. "Good afternoon, Mama Ngozi," Chiemena greets politely. But Mama Ngozi ignores his greetings and continues her business. "Please, Mama Ngozi, can I get 200 naira fried yam?" said Chiemena. And my money? Or have you forgotten you still owe me money? Asked Mama Ngozi. I know I'm still owing you 850 naira from before, but I promise you, I will pay everything together, said Chiemena. Oga, I'm afraid I can't do that, spat Mama Ngozi. I'm tired of all your stories. Whenever you are ready to pay me the money you owe me, then I will consider giving you more fried yam on credit. Till then, please leave my store. I have business to run here, concludes Mama Emeka. I'm truly sorry I haven't paid you yet, Mama Emeka, continues Chiemena. Business has been really slow these past few months, but I promise to pay you as soon as possible, pleaded Chiemenas. Please don't get me angry this afternoon, replied Mama Ngozi, whose anger was clearly building up against Chiemenas. I already told you I'm not giving you any yam on credit, said Mama Ngozi. Not until you pay me the money you owe me from before. So please, leave this place before I give you the humiliation of a lifetime, shouted Mama Ngozi. Embarrassed and humiliated, Chiemenas quietly walks away with his head hanging low, his intestinal worms mercilessly chewing away at his empty stomach. A few minutes later, Chiemenas gets home and sits outside his house thinking about his predicament and drifts away in his thoughts. What is going on in my life, thinks Chiemenas. What kind of life am I living? Why am I suffering so much? No food to eat. All my clothes are either torn or worn out, and even my late father's house that I'm managing is old and falling apart. This is not fair. I really need to go out and seek solution to my problem, thinks Chiemenas. I can't live the rest of my life like this. I must do something before it's too late. Chiemenas gets up and heads out. Minutes later, he runs into his friend, Nnamani. Where are you going to? And what is the problem again? Asks Nnamani. Look, Nnamani, I am very tired. Very, very tired of my life, laments Chiemenas. Calm down, Chiemenas. Take it easy, pleads Nnamani. Please calm down. Everything will be all right. Remember, I've offered many times to introduce you to my godfather, said Nnamani. I guaranteed you that he will solve all your problems. He will help you solve every last one of them. But you refused to go with me to meet him, says Nnamani. But your godfather is a voodoo priest and a ritualist, protested Chiemenas. I may not be a good and loyal Christian to God yet, but I would still rather get ripped to pieces by a mad lion than do business with the devil, affirmed Chiemenas. This is the problem with you people, says Nnamani. You people misunderstand the Bible scriptures and begin to die in silence. The scripture says, heaven helps those who help themselves, Nnamani quotes. Look, the scriptures are clear on this. Go out and do whatever you must do to save yourself, argues Nnamani. Tell me, Nnamani, who exactly made this statement in the Bible? Asks Chiemenas. Nnamani thinks for a second. Jesus, he answers. Stop saying things you don't know and stop using quotes you don't understand, says Chiemenas. Nnamani is silent for a moment, then replies, Look, Chiemenas, all I'm saying is you are not saying anything. Chiemenas cuts him off. Your lips are moving quite clearly, but you are not saying anything, Nnamani, affirms Chiemenas. I have to go now. Let's meet later at my place to discuss how to save you from your godfather. On that note, Chiemenas walks off and Nnamani stands there watching his friend Chiemenas walk away, wishing there was something he could do to help him. Chiemenas arrives at his church compound and walks straight to Reverend Ezechukwu's favorite spot for counseling. Good afternoon, Reverend, greets Chiemenas. Good afternoon. Please sit down, replied Reverend Ezechukwu. What may I do for you, my friend? Reverend sir, I'm dying slowly. I'm fading away quietly and nobody cares, Reverend. laments Chiemena. "Calm down, my son, calm down," Reverend Ezechukwu tries to console. "No matter what the problem is, there's always a solution with God, okay? Now tell me, what is the matter?" inquires Reverend Ezechukwu. And for the next few minutes, Chiemena divulges his entire life story of woes and failures, and how people steadily make sincere promises to him, but it always ends up promise and fail. He also tells Reverend Ezechukwu of how he hasn't had anything to eat for almost 3 days and is almost at the point of death. "There's nothing the Lord cannot do if only you have faith," replies Reverend Ezechukwu. "This is a place of answers to all questions and solution to all problems," says Reverend Ezechukwu. Reverend Ezechukwu gave Chiemena 3 days dry fasting and prayers to do and advised him to stay within the church premises the whole time so as to avoid distractions and be able to focus on his prayers. Chiemena agrees to do just that, no questions asked. Chiemena thanks Reverend Ezechukwu and takes his leave. Early the next morning, Chiemena comes back to the church with a few personal effects and starts the 3 days fasting and prayer.